Welcome to the Northeast Kingdom Voice. I'm your host, Scott Wheeler. Today's guests are two members of the Halo Foundation. Welcome to the show. I'll let you introduce yourselves.
Carol. I'm Carol Vians. Go ahead.
I'm Hillary Wright.
And you're here today to talk about the Halo Foundation. I know we've had the Halo Foundation on here a couple different times, but we've never had the two of you. And you're one of the pioneers of the Halo.
My mother-in-law was Mary Wright. She had colon cancer. She passed away in 2012. And so the community was, very much involved and helped her out whenever she needed it. Because when you have cancer, your life basically stops. And, you can't work. Somebody has to take care of you. You have to go to doctor's appointments and, puts your life on hold. So everybody, helped her out when she needed it. And so after she passed away, we wanted to give back.
But your life, it was actually more complicated than that because her husband, your father-in-law, soon after he lost his wife, he passed away.
He did, yes. Broken heart.
Yeah, that's what I heard, that basically he died of a broken heart. So how many kids did he leave behind?
They had 4 kids.
4 kids, 4 grown sons, right?
Yep.
And so so everybody agreed this was the thing to do?
Yeah.
Right. The one thing I think about the Halo Foundation, as you know, I've been a big supporter of it, is unlike a lot of organizations where if you send your money away or to a big organization,
right,
how much money is really spent on the cause. How much? You're pretty much 100%.
100%, right? Yeah.
So you're not like one of these CEOs that are
right,
taking off $100,000
no,
a year.
Nobody gets paid for anything.
Right. And it's actually more than money, because a lot of people think of the Halo Foundation as money, as in giving cancer patients money, but you do more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's emotional, just knowing that somebody is out there thinking of you when you're, going through this trying time.
You can also arrange people to have their lawns mowed, I understand, or firewood piled.
Yep.
So, and Carol, what is your role here?
I'm just the computer geek, Scott. Seriously, I was involved in the Chris Grenier scavenger hunt, and for years, and that was basically to raise money for cancer. And it occurred to us that afterward, you wake up in the morning, you've got to bring all this stuff back, that you've borrowed or stolen from people, and we have gone into houses, and people who aren't supposed to help out, they would help out and for other people, and we'd steal their stuff to get the points. So you wake up the next morning, you've got all these articles, 6 remotes, because you get so many points for a remote control, and where did this come from? And so anyway, I got involved after I went to a technology conference, and I saw this goose chase. I went into one of the meetings, and they're talking about a goose chase, and I thought about that. I said, oh my God, we can create the scavenger hunt electronically, or what's the word I'm looking for? Virtually.
Right.
So anyway, I presented it to Hillary. She said, that sounds great. And so this is our third year. Third year doing the goose chase virtually.
I've got to tell you, though, the scavenger hunt really boosted my ego for a little bit. I was at home just doing stuff, and all of a sudden I had all kinds of women. They were all women, mostly women, some guys, but most women. They were showing up at my house, wanted their photo taken with me. I'm thinking, hey, not bad to be a middle-aged guy and have all these women wanting me. Well, it wasn't quite that. I didn't realize I was part of the hunt, and you had to come and have a photo taken with me. Now just think, if they had to bring me back and I'd been kicking around for the last few years because you couldn't find where I belong.
Because Penny would say, no, he's not really
No
mine.
returns.
Yeah, no returns.
Yeah, that was, I still laugh about that, when I
Yeah.
turned, it must have been when I was 50, turning into an instant chick magnet.
Yep.
So
Who'd have thought, huh?
Yeah.
Running down the Clyde Street,
Well,
that you'd be the chick back.
yeah, they tell me bald men are in.
Well,
So tell me, what's a virtual, so I know what the scavenger hunt was when it was the real thing, as in like when you actually came to my house.
Yeah,
Am
you
I
had a
gonna
paper list.
Am I going to have like virtual women stalking me?
You just might. Where are you going to be October 6th?
yeah.
I have to think about that.
So here's how it works. It is an app that people, you download the app, and our brains come up with all these different things you have to do. For example, one year I had people go through a drive-through without a car and order a meal.
Right.
You had to take a picture or a video, and then you submit it. You log into it. We do things so that you get the password to get into the game, because you can't get into the game without the password. Then you have all these different things that you can do, and they are worth so many points. And right now we have it, people with the most points wins. It's bragging rights, really. We give a trophy.
You get trophies.
Yeah. And so you either have to GPS your location, go to the spot where, the monument is, whatever.
Right.
And I can't go into a lot of detail because it's all very, very secret, and we don't want to. And those people who are watching this are probably thinking, Carol and Hillary are going to give a clue about something. And so there are verbal answers that you can type in. There are videos, take a video of a historical moment. And those who did that one, we still play it every now and then. So what it does is it frees up people bringing stuff, and you're doing it virtually. You're taking your picture, you're videotaping 5 people high-fiving at the same time in mid-air. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I think it makes sense just simply because of the march of time, as in now with the technology. When the scavenger hunt began, you had the technology, but it was still relatively new. Now, granted, you would have me. I would be spending half my time just trying to use the app, but I'm getting better at it.
It's very user friendly.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're talking about a guy who one day I came into the studio and I asked our producer, Todd Pronto, where I could get a tape recorder, because mine had broke, and he's a tape recorder. And I had no idea that he taught me how to use my computer as a tape recorder.
Yeah.
Well, that was, and here I was still just about pounding on stone tablets. So, what's the response been to this?
It's getting bigger and bigger every year. The first year was, we ironed out some kinks because we realized that only one person can be the person to upload the photos. Because as they come in, I was doing a live feed, so you can see the responses and the folks' stuff. So it was a learning curve at first, but then people started, getting excited about the chase, and Hillary and I would do these videos and so give more clues. And so, because some of the questions are, where was the first video? And it's worth 1,000 points. And so they're watching Facebook, and we're, just trying to get it.
So give me some examples of things from the past.
That's what I was doing.
For that people had to find or do or.
Scott, before we talk about the missions, there are some things that have to be done. We have some stipulations, for example.
Your team has to fit in one vehicle legally with seatbelts.
Mm-hmm.
you have to have a picture of the team because we don't want, people are very creative in this and they're going for those points. So who knows whether or not other people will be in the pictures adding to it. So you need a team photo. The other thing that you have to have is a valid driver's license. Whoever's going to be driving needs to have a valid driver's license. And they also have to sign a consent
Waiver,
a waiver, those are the legalities. But when we get to the missions, they're fun. For example, 50 Years Strong was a mission where you had to go out and find a married couple who had been married at least 50 years and get a picture of them kissing. That was one of them. Let me see, Knights of the Round Table. Create a human table using your team members, as furniture and snap a picture of your team. Then, I'm from the, 50s, so those of us who are my age, riddle me this, Batman, the Joker.
Yep.
And so I had a few riddle me this. What invention lets you look through a wall? They were just funny little clues. And, then we had some roadblocks.
Yeah.
And you can talk a little bit about the different mandatory roadblocks.
So we have 3, I believe, we had last year.
Yep.
So we give clues and people have to figure out where these places are. And then there's usually 2 or 3 things they have to complete before they can leave the roadblock to get their clue to go to the next one. So we try to keep it interesting and people thinking.
So you kidnapping anybody anymore, or
You never know what we might have up our sleeve.
we can't.
I bet you, we got the producer of the show, Todd Pronto's if you need a photo with a rock star, well, he's not a rock star, he's kind of like a country star, so, he might be around on October
Sometimes,
6th.
though, they get a little creative. When you say get a picture of a rock star, they'll give you a picture of a rock and a star.
Yeah.
So, and we're not saying that won't work. We're just saying that, some of the missions, again, or the dance monkeys, where you go out in public and you try to get strangers to dance with you, or we have them do karaoke or create a new song, but one of the most important ones that I always like that I don't like, but it's the what is your why? And
What is your why?
What is your why?
Why do you play? Who's a person in your life that has had cancer,
Right.
survivor, or one that's passed.
Mm-hmm.
So so this is a lot of fun, but how do you make money?
So every person that plays pays $20 to be on a team. And then we do a live auction, a silent auction. It's just a day full of
Kidnap
fun.
people, they have to donate money.
We do sponsors. We do 5 prime sponsors, and then we have 14 to 16 regular sponsors. And that's what really makes the day happen.
Right.
Because, we always get a band, we have a DJ. This year it's at the Elks. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Right. And how much money do you typically collect from this?
So last year we raised just over $30,000.
Wow, $30,000
in one day. Yeah.
And what does that mean for the Halo Foundation?
So that's our base for the year. So normally our grants are $500 per person, and it's not always just a one-time. Every situation's different depending on what their needs are. So that's our base for the year, so we can help people.
And what kind of response do you get from people that get these checks?
Oh, it's amazing. They just, they're just blown away.
Right. Because I know I've talked to a few people who they didn't even know it was coming. And
Right.
sometimes the first time they've learned about the Halo
Yeah.
Foundation is when a check arrived. So how do you find out?
There's not a lot of people that will ask, for themselves. Most of the time it's a family member or a friend that will refer them.
But do you also just kind of like listen?
Yeah. Yeah, we're in the community all the time, so.
Right. I understand from my friend Dr. Les Lockridge, who's an oncologist, that in reality is the Northeast Kingdom still is relatively, we're better off than some areas with cancer, but it does seem like maybe it's because of social media and everything
Right.
that we're all so connected. Now we just hear about it all the time.
Yeah.
But because I know at least when you and I were growing up, if you heard the C word,
Oh, yeah.
you knew you're pretty much a goner.
Right.
But that isn't the case anymore.
No.
You probably had a fair number of people who
Yeah.
have,
Survivors. Absolutely.
you ever have people come back to you after they're healthy
Yep.
and give
They
money
volunteer.
back?
Yep.
What about give them? You probably even have some that say thank you and then they donate to you.
Yep. Absolutely.
Right. So Carol, why are you involved in this? Do
Somebody
you have
needs
do you have cancer in your family?
Thankfully, I do not. But I see a need, and I'm always willing to help when I can. I could never give blood at the American Red Cross, but I would help out at the functions. I don't thankfully have cancer. No one in my family thankfully has cancer, but I know people and I see, what it does to them. And I just recently saw, more close to my family and, through my children's extended family. And I see how much they need help, and whatever I can do to help, I don't have it, but let me help out.
And a lot of first response some people have is but they have insurance, but as Dr. Lockridge or most providers will tell you, insurance is only good for certain things,
Yeah.
medicine, appointments, but that doesn't cover your cost of travel, that doesn't cost for your
Right.
cafeteria, your
Groceries,
food, right,
yeah.
groceries, lack of, oftentimes just missing work. So there's so much
Right.
more, associated with any kind of serious illness.
It was an eye-awakening experience for me just within the last couple of years, just getting with Hillary to, just learning of how these people have to deal with life. Someone just said, when you get cancer, your life stops. Everything just stops. And suddenly you're faced with, how am I going to pay my bills? Just recently, a friend of mine who has cancer, I went to visit her, and she said, we're going to sit in the living room. And she said, because, the bills are on the table. And I told her, I gave Hillary her name, but you don't realize that the bills are still happening. They're still coming in. You can't work. You don't have enough for this. So, it's something.
And so in $500, that won't pay all your bills, but at least make your life a little more
Right.
comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So how come, so this is the Halo Foundation goes to Orleans County residents
Yep.
who have cancer, right? And this has really grown into this has even gone beyond the Wright family now, hasn't it? There's many people.
It's a community.
Right.
It's a community foundation.
Why do you think? Because as I said, the Halo Foundation, it basically came out of nowhere, and now you have to be living if you live in Orleans County, you haven't heard of the Halo Foundation. You certainly probably haven't had anybody in your life who has or had cancer, or you might be living in a cave somewhere without any technology because you're everywhere. Why do you think you've really captured the imagination of people wanting to give?
Well, because everybody knows somebody in their family or a friend that has cancer, and once it becomes a part of your life, you want to help.
Right. And I think no disrespect to walkathons and stuff like that. That's all well and fine, but I think you make things. You also make things fun, like
Right.
this event, and it's coming up on
October 6th.
October 6th. Is you make emptying your wallet or giving money, opening your wallet fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe some people would say, well, that's kind of sad if you want to. That you have to make things fun, but I do. I think there's so many worthy causes,
Mm-hmm.
but I promote your cause just simply because it stays local. Because
Right.
so many other causes, even other cancer causes, the money all leaves the area. Yours stays here.
Right.
Yeah. I just want to reiterate about the different causes.
Right.
When it was a scavenger hunt before, I don't know if you remember that they used to do the food truck. I believe Todd
Yeah,
was.
Todd
Yep.
was a part of that.
Yeah, it was part of the scavenger hunt was you had to get a turkey and go donate it to the big tractor trailer full of food, and we try to keep some of those things in. For example, last year you had to purchase some dog food, dog and cat, or dog or cat,
Yeah.
and we donate it to the local animal shelters. And so we try to think of different things to add to the other people who need help here in Orleans County.
So you're not only just going out and collecting goofy things. Like I remember one of the questions that people arrived at my house for. They were looking for an IROC pass.
Yeah, yep.
And I think that was even after IROC had closed, I believe. So they, so in other words, you're actually having to go out and sometimes buy things
Yeah.
that will help other people.
Or get your hair removed.
Yeah.
Or
I already did that.
well, that was one of the. It was called Hair Today, Gone Tomorrow. You had
Yeah.
to, for 1,000
Get
points,
something
you had
waxed.
something waxed. Videotape. Some people
Yeah.
videotape.
So what are some of the questions? What are some of the events this year?
We
can't
can't
tell
give that
you.
away.
I figured you were going to tell me that. But if you just say it, nobody will listen.
Nobody will listen. Nobody will
Yeah.
listen.
Are they imaginative?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah. We just some of the stuff that we come up with. I mean, we laugh just imagining what they're going to look like when they do that. For example, they all had to wear diapers,
Yeah.
right?
I think we ought to use your wonderful grandmother who's nearing 100.
Yeah.
You gotta, maybe somebody could kidnap her and bring her up and.
I don't know if she'd like that, but I might get in trouble.
So, what else? We only have a few more minutes left. What more would you like to talk about? This
We
event?
want to make sure that everybody knows that it's going to be October 6th. There are time limitations.
Okay, where is it going to be again?
It's at the Elks.
Do you sign up in advance?
Yes.
Well, in advance to the October 6th or that date?
Right. So Carol has a registration form that she's put out on Facebook.
Right.
So, hopefully we can get some of the teams in early. And then we do pre-registration at the Cow Palace on Friday night, October 5th. And then registration starts at 10 on Saturday.
Right.
So you can register the day
Yep.
of the.
Oh, yeah.
Do high school kids get involved in this?
We have a few.
Yeah, 'cause
We have
I
a
would
couple
think that-
families that get involved. And
Yeah, I would think that would be a good thing for them. So do you two take part, or do you just work the?
we're the maestros. We just
Yeah.
organize and.
Have you either one of you ever done it
Oh,
before?
I always
Oh,
played for
yeah.
years. When Jesse did it,
Yeah.
I always participated.
Yeah.
One of the funnest days of my year.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when Jesse said, okay, it's done, we kind of didn't really want it to go away because it's so much fun. It's that one day a year and you go out and you get all these things and you're raising money for cancer. We used to always make sure we had the shirt. Like last year, one of our points was to take a picture of as many team members with shirts from
Different
the
years.
past. So,
Yeah.
that helps raise money. The shirts, the hats, the koozies,
So we talk about the fun, but there's also a lot of work to this.
yeah.
Yeah, as soon as it was over last year, I started planning the next day.
If there's people out there who don't want to take part for some reason, but do you need volunteers or you're?
Yep.
Always can use volunteers to man a table or to
Sell the
help
shirts.
sell the shirts, help with the mandatory roadblocks. Yeah, we need. I actually enlisted my niece Alexis this year to take
pictures.
because before I would go like the Dirty 40, I'd help take pictures and stuff like that. And it's so much fun to get out on Facebook and social media, the various pictures. And I can only be in one spot. So we've got people out there taking pictures during this as well.
You know, I think about social media. Just think, we grew up in the same neighborhood, in the same hood.
Yeah.
And if growing up, would you ever have thought we'd be able to do all of this?
Somebody could have told me that, you'd be able to see somebody else. Remember the old
The Jetsons?
The Jetsons, where they could see somebody on their phone or something. I would have thought, there's no way I would ever do that. I
Yeah.
look like
Yeah.
garbage in the morning,
And where did Maxwell Smart keep his phone?
Well, he kept it in his shoe.
Right, and that was, there was
Everybody knows that.
so much of our childhood is coming true. I'm waiting to teleport myself around,
Oh.
like the Star Trek.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe we'll live. Maybe we'll live long enough to. Well, you'll be able to beam yourself right back up to
Right.
work. So, okay. Final words, Hillary.
We hope to have a great turnout this year.
And Carol.
So I can't use the same thing. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't ever done it, you've got to come out and do it. Just to be part of a team. You can even, if you don't want to be part of a team, if you don't want to participate, come to the Elks for the merriment, for the people, we have some survivors or some who are currently going through chemo and stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's a gathering of a community, and that's why we're
Raising money for a good cause.
Right.
Okay, Elks at what time?
10 o'clock is registration,
October 6th.
and the game starts at noon.
It starts at noon and it ends at 4 o'clock because I have done the magic so that once it hits 4 o'clock,
The game is done.
the game is done. It stops.
Well, thank you for coming on the show, but particularly thank you for all you do, because you have really helped, especially the Wright family has really helped reshape Orleans County in the sense of helping people with cancer. You've touched many lives. The Wright family could have just mourned the passing of both parents because the boys were relatively young.
Yeah.
And they could have just kind of like disappeared into the woodwork. Instead, they took a tragic thing that most of us could not understand, losing parents bang, bang like that.
Yeah.
Instead, they've took their grief and turned it into a wonderful thing. And I think I think you're showing a lot of people the way it should be done.
To pay it forward.
Right. Okay, thank you both for coming
Thanks
on.
for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
And thank you to the viewers for tuning in to another segment of the Northeast Kingdom Voice.